And agricultural news from agview.net. An analysis by economic Steve Meyer for the National Pork Producers Council says an estimated 2 billion hogs are still backed up on farms. Now, according to his report that was based on lean hog future prices March 1st and July 10th and the actual hog prices in the interim, the potential 2020 revenue from hog sales has been reduced by roughly $4.7 billion. Other losses associated with euthanasia, disposal and donation of pigs with no market outlet, and insufficient space to hold them means U.S. pork producers have lost nearly $5 billion this year. Meyer says it appears those losses will continue into 2021. So the NPPC is calling on Congress to pass the Relief for Producers Act. That provides compensation for farmers who were forced to euthanize or donate animals that can't be processed into the food supply as a result of COVID-19, among other provisions. Well, a Kansas State University ag economist has completed an exhaustive study on hedging cattle prices, which he said could help producers manage their economic risk, perhaps especially so in times of crisis. Brian Coffey looked at the average price of steers and heifers that were sold in Kansas between 2010 and June of this year to determine if hedging, which is a strategy to lock in prices using the futures, is a reliable strategy for selling live cattle. He said one thing that came out will be surprising to a lot of people. He said if you just look at the average price of live cattle that would have been sold from 2010 through 2020, the hedged prices are lower, but only 48 cents a hundred lower than an unhedged sale on average. In other words, the risk management benefits of hedging comes at a fairly low cost per hundredweight on average. Hedging helps to protect against adverse price changes in the markets by allowing a producer who is feeding cattle to establish an approximate selling price now and be protected if those prices decline by the time animals reach the market. And the U.S. Meat Export Federation has released an updated version of an independent study that was aimed at qualifying the value that red meat exports provide to U.S. corn and soybean farmers. The independent study was conducted by World Perspectives. And since 2015, indirect exports of corn and soybeans through beef and pork exports have been the fastest growing category of corn and soybean use. And that has delivered critical returns for corn and soybean farmers. These folks support the international promotion of U.S. beef, pork, and lamb by investing a portion of their checkoff dollars in marketing development efforts that were conducted by the USMEF. You can find more on these and other stories at agview.net. Stay with us. More coming up.